The decision. King Jordan's eyes narrowed and met Alexander's eyes head-on.
By friend, you mean King Damien, don't you?
Alexander nodded his head to Jordan.
Look, I know he's your friend, but I don't trust him. Not with my daughter. Not with who she is.
Jordan, Damien knows nothing about Serenity being the Crimson Princess. I also trust him with my life. He's a good friend. He made some mistakes, but he was confused and hurting, not to mention young.
King Jordan sat his head in his hands and shook his head to the side.
I don't feel comfortable with her leaving the safety of 𝘮𝑒. She's too precious. She's my world.
He trailed off slowly. Alexander's eyes softened, and he continued to urge Jordan.
If not me, who else is she more safe with? Surely, Jordan, you know this. She's probably the safest by my side. Who would dare attack the Apollo Kingdom?
King Jordan knew Alexander was right. There was no army stronger than the Apollo Kingdoms. It was just that he didn't share Alexander's sentiments when it came to King Damien. In his eyes, Damien was unstable, and his previous actions has shown that he may thirst for power. What if he knows or finds out about Serenity? How can he possibly trust the life of his most precious daughter near a man like that? As if reading Jordan's mind, Alexander said,
You know that I will protect her with my life. To me, her life is more important than my own.
Alexander turned to look at Serenity, who wasn't happy hearing that revelation.
Jordan, you have to trust her with someone someday. I give you my word. She will be brought back unscathed.
Jordan looked over to his daughter. Her eyes were pleading with him for this opportunity to see life outside of 𝘮𝑒. He furrowed his brows deep in thought.
Very well.
King Jordan sighed as Serenity squeaked with delight and rushed to throw her arms around her father.
Now wait a minute, and listen, you two.
Jordan said, quieting their excitement.
I think it's best if Serenity travels as a soldier during the journey. Once she is safely within the confines of the castle of the Shadow Kingdom, then she may resume her identity as the Princess of 𝘮𝑒. Serenity.
Jordan turned and looked at his daughter.
You will take the blood sword with you.
Serenity gasped and shook her head.
No, I don't want anything to do with it.
She pleaded.
On this issue, I will not budge. If you are in any danger, if you feel you need to, you unsheath the blood sword and protect yourself.
Jordan reached out and took his daughter's hand in his.
I know you choose to bury this part of yourself. I know that you fear the power you have been entrusted with, but I believe in you. And I know that your mother would have too. Do not fear your power, my daughter. You know who you are. You are kind and brave, with a heart full of love. I will not be around forever to protect you. You must believe in yourself, the way that I do. And the way that I do.
Alexander chimed in. Serenity smiled softly. She never thought of herself as the Crimson Princess, and had chosen to ignore that part of herself. She didn't want to be involved in some prophecy. She was Serenity, the 𝘮𝑒's princess. She wasn't some person to save or destroy the world. Yet, here she is being forced to bring her destiny along with her. She looked into the eyes of her father, who always believed that she would bring peace to all the kingdoms.
Just how am I supposed to do that?
She thought.
Fine, I'll bring the blood sword, but I'm bringing my main sword as well. I plan on only using my main sword, but I promise if I absolutely need to, I will try to unsheath the other sword. Who knows, it may just be some rusted sword that no one can draw because it's rusted together.
Jordan chuckled and said,
I guess time will tell.
Anyway, let's talk about the important stuff, like I get to go on an adventure.
Serenity scooped into her mouth a big bite of apple pie. She was so excited she could burst. She began to ramble on and on of everything she wanted to do on her journey. Jordan looked over at Alexander sympathetically and said,
Look what you got yourself into.
I'm feeling tired just listening to her talk.
Alexander said, and the two of them started laughing. Serenity looked up at the two of them and stuck her tongue out. She stood up and said,
Well, morning comes early and I have an adventure I can't wait to embark on.
She bounced over to her father, kissing him goodnight, and skipped down the corridor to her room. Alexander smiled with amusement and was glad he was able to make her happy. Even if she was going to be a handful during their trip, he knew this would be good for her. He was also looking forward to spending more time with his precious friend.
You know how hard it is for me. After losing Gwen, Serenity is all I have. She is my world. I'm trusting you. Please take good care of her.
Jordan said quietly. Alexander nodded.
You have my word.